Reprezent Radio, sounds of blushes with honey. I'm very, very pleased to say that Tiff and Cobb from the band joined me in the studio. Good afternoon! I'm excited. This has been sorry, did someone snort?
Kick it off.
Wow. Straight into it. We were right. It was relatively calm and reserved up until that moment, and then just something
It's when
happened.
I choke on my laugh.
Does it happen a lot?
It does. I tried to keep it on the down low, but it didn't happen.
We'll start there again. Blushes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello there.
How are you guys doing?
I think we're okay. We're okay.
Hydrated.
We survived the opening exchanges.
Through it now.
So we're all good. It's thank you for joining me on what is a very busy day today. Wimbledon final, World Cup final.
Everything's sort of concluding. But this is the big one, isn't it?
It's leading us to this.
Yeah.
Are you was it a bit of a hard call to take when someone's like, you got an interview at the time of the World Cup final, or is it?
I was so scared. Really? I was so scared. I was like, I hope we don't, just in case, because I feel like I'd be like target for a lot of people. I was like, please don't. But yeah, no, it's fine.
And it's like every end of extra time, I was like, well, going to London on Sunday.
Yeah,
cool.
well, the interview's on. Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening. Oh, it's fine. We are excited, I swear.
I'm glad it all worked out, and I'm glad you're here. And you seem in quite high spirits. Being last night was a party. You were playing live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a hem do afterwards as well, so I don't know how I'm
that
awake.
Was a very interesting time.
I don't know how I'm awake. Honestly, I'm just alive.
Yeah, we played in Bishop Stortford.
Yeah, the Half Moon, right?
It was so good. It was such fun.
Eastern border of Hertfordshire, and it was actually a really good gig. Played with a cool band called Among the Citizens.
I loved them.
Very cool.
Loved them.
Another cool band called Wasted Rhymes.
Yeah,
cool.
Because your live show seems like a raucous affair. To set the scene, last time I saw you, like the stage in East London could barely contain you guys. The guitar physically fell apart.
Yeah, it did.
From all the rock.
There's this various selection of events that are guaranteed to happen in this set, like things that go wrong, but like you kind of have to take them in your stride. And then
there's always going to be
become like
comedy.
Known for it, but we're like breaking through it.
Just soldier on through. What's the worst one been, or the most problematic?
Probably no. Actually, no. It wasn't problematic. I fell off stage once, but it wasn't that bad.
Wow.
I went to slap drop. And then I fell off the side of the stage. I know it was.
If that's going to be the reason,
it wasn't
that's
that bad.
You had to pay for.
I still carried on playing. I got back on and slammed on the note, and it was still fine. But I don't think we've had any massive problems.
That was quite
touch wood.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
That one at the Old Blue Last, that was quite. I don't know. That was pretty bad.
Traumatic.
Yep.
Just because it was
yeah, but I think that made it more fun.
So we were like, okay, let's go. Let's just continue.
It's boring.
It's always more memorable when that kind of stuff happens. I kind of did a bit of digging around ahead of today. I realised that it's almost been a year since I first got an email from the lovely Ella, who was just like, hey, you should check out this band Blushes.
Shout out to Ella.
They're amazing.
Really?
Shout out to Ella each and every time. And she was talking about a show you guys did at the Old Blue Last about this time last year, and it feels like it's been a hell of a 12 months since then. Like, the momentum is very, very strong with you guys. Loads of gigs, loads of singles.
Yeah.
Like, how does it feel? Do you feel like you're riding the wave, or is there just like a moment every now and then you're like, whoa, this is happening?
I think we're trying to not be like too self-aware of like what's going on, because you can kind of like overthink it too much. You'd be like, oh, is this wrong? Is this right?
Yeah.
What we do next? Like, is it too like this? Is it too like that?
It's really hard to tell though, because sometimes when we've been putting in loads of effort and hard work, something won't happen that's substantial, and then when you are chilling and not as busy, sometimes that's when something just kind of hits you and does happen. So it's really hard to tell.
It's
in
completely
that
unpredictable. At this stage, of our growth, I guess you could say, is completely unpredictable. Like, what is going to happen, and it's like we're about to go and like do it in a different way, where we're going to be like putting ourselves financially into it. And trying to like push it kind of that way, just to kind of we're at the kind of apex of the level that we're on right now, and we're like, okay, how the heck do we like get out from here? Because it's like we're still working on our dream, like we're still trying to like chip away, like it's trying to move up kind of thing. Like at the same time, it's like writing the best music and playing the best shows we can. So it's I know, we're just trying to keep on keeping on. We've been recording and mixing a lot. Yeah.
Just keep on swimming.
Just doing the Dory.
Just keep swimming. Doing the Dory.
Yeah.
We're doing the Dory.
2004.
It's amazing to hear, just as a fan of you guys, and it's been so good to hear over the past year, like the sound kind of develop further and further. For people who haven't heard Blushes for the first time, there's a lot that goes into it. It is, you know, you guys rock out, but there's electronic elements and R&B elements. Is that when you get together to write and to create the music, is there some things you all agree on, or are you kind of all bringing in a little bit of different things that you're picking up?
It tends to be sort of discussion.
There's a lot of discussing, because there are things that we do disagree on.
Until we reach like the kind of point where we all nod our heads and like,
or like there'll be something that everyone else has agreed on, and say one person, aka me, won't agree on it. and then I'll say to Jacob, right, can we just compromise, and we'll come up with something completely different in that certain, say like if it's like a vocal bit where I do a little riff, and I'm like, maybe I should change that, and he's like, no, it sounds great, and I'm like, no, but there's something, even if it's like slowed down or something.
So we're trying to keep the options open like as much as we can, and it's like, we kind of arrived at our sort of sound, I guess, like in a bit of an accident, and then once we sort of realised like it's a little bit kind of
quirky,
of a off the wall kind of sound, not like crazily, but like we have like elements that maybe you don't see as often as other elements, and we were like, okay, we've got to sort of make the most of this, and we've got to kind of latch onto it, and like, how do we sort of distill it into this kind of into the song kind of thing, like, make it kind of individual,
and it just kind of naturally happens that you're left with the Blushes sound.
The blues boosh.
Because I've been doing the mixing for the past few symbols, and I did the recording. We went down to this hall, the school hall in my village, and we like rented it out because we couldn't afford like a studio or anything. And I took like my bedroom equipment into the hall.
We took the studio to the hall,
and then we just recorded these songs, including the Not a Chance and Cielo Rosa and Dust, and the next one that's going to be coming out. And it was kind of like an experiment just to see if we could do it, and like if we could kind of pull it off, like do it completely ourselves, and like in going back to the bedroom and then mixing it, and then that's where it kind of like kicks in. It's like, okay, what should these songs sound like should it be totally live, should we kind of add something like over the top, or like should we just
production wise as well,
just kind of gauging that.
You've afforded yourselves that position where, because you're kind of doing it on a bit of a DIY basis, you can experiment, like that's what these EPs and these singles are for, I guess, is about.
And it's still like, we still want them to be, it's not like we're just kind of putting half ourselves into it, it's like we still want them to be like as good as we can make them. At the same time, it's like, that's
why I'm so fussy when it comes to picking.
So it's kind of good, because it means we all care, like we're not, it's not like one of us sort of doesn't really care about.
I'm not just gonna go, that's good enough, that'll do.
We all kind of have our 2 cents, our 10 cents, our 50 cents.
50 cents.
50 cents. We're going to hear the latest single, and then we're going to find a bit more about how it was written. This is Blushes, the latest single. It's called, and I practiced this, Cielo Rosa.
Oh, go on.
Perfect.
Pink Sky?
Banging.
Yes. Pink Sky.
I've got nothing to lose. You're telling it like it's true.
As Blushes with Cielo Rosa. I can't say it any other way. You know, I can't go.
Say it once.
Cielo Rosa, mate.
I can do it.
Cielo Rosa.
Cielo Rosa. Wow, well done, Tiff.
The band themselves join me in the studio this afternoon. Tell me a bit more about this track, right? It's called Pink Sky.
Yes.
And I love the artwork for this, and Dust.
Yeah, so we kind of, we're trying to piece together this sort of concept behind this whole run of releases, especially these 2 tracks, with this whole sort of idea, I guess story you could say.
It's like storytelling. We sat down for these, and we proper planned.
How to make them kind of
do a lot of artwork behind it.
Look consistent and kind of feel consistent as songs, to give them a kind of running thread. And it was like this girl who,
strong woman.
And she's going to this casino in this car that's in the clouds, and the casino is called Cielo Rosa, Pink Sky. And basically, when she gets to the casino, she's got this vendetta with a man there who's wronged her, done something. We were saying maybe like cheated on her or something like that. And
Yeah.
Maybe something higher, and then she just basically wrecks the place. And
Wrecks
that was the artwork for Not a Chance, the previous single. So it's kind of backwards.
And in the video, there's loads of little hints that we put in it. Like the address was like about Not a Chance, like the casino, and all this. We put loads of tiny little eggs in it.
And then when I was in the artwork, I was like, okay, how are we gonna? Because we wanted to release Dust and Cielo Rose on the same time. Like, how are we gonna sort of make that work artwork wise? And I was like, well, what if we did one artwork and we split it like in half, which is what happened. So I did the car for Dust and then the casino for Cielo Rose in it, which is kind of
That's crazy. And you guys did it yourselves as well.
Yeah.
So it's all. It feels like everything at the moment is kind of in house with Blushes.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a very
definitely
creative space.
It's like there's no middleman creatively. It's like completely what you see and hear is like 100% of what we've come up with, and it's like
it's all us
within. Yeah, so it's been.
There's no like anybody shaping it.
Yeah, it's still quite fresh in our minds as well. There hasn't been like a massive period of time where we've sort of like left it or like had it recorded like for ages. It's like kind of sort of rolling off the line, as it were.
I was going to say as well, because you can hear, for me, the spontaneity in the music as well. It feels very much like you kind of want to write it, record it, and like there's a series of refinement that happens afterwards. Yeah. But I feel the energy in the takes.
That's the most important thing. Like for this kind of,
I think it feels more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because it feels more like childlike and like more.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? When you're listening to it, you can feel that we had fun with it.
Yeah.
And it was, looser.
There's a list, a priority list. Fun is one, number one. Fun is one.
We like to have fun here with Blushes.
Yeah. Good is two.
Top priority to have. As well.
Yeah. If we're all having fun while we're recording and like we all think it's a fun track, that's great. If we all think it's good and we're like, oh, this is decent.
I feel like that should be priority. It has to be good first, not just fun.
Good fun. It's good fun.
It's good fun.
And then 3 is like experimentation. I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
So on the back of our next CD is just going to say good fun. That's it, no credit.
Yeah.
Just good
That's
fun.
the name of the next one. Good fun.
Good fun.
There we go. We did it.
Amazing.
Done. See you later. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, bags of energy on the tracks, bags of energy on stage that we've talked about. Really excited for the next show in London, the Camden Assembly, 25th of July, which is just, it sounds incredible. Some brilliant bands on the lineup as well. House, The Young Hearts, and She. I kind of get the feeling with you guys, like you've put me onto a couple of bands. We played Birthday Card on the show that kind of came through you guys. And I think when I saw you at the last gig, you were like, listen to these guys, listen to these guys, listen to these guys. It feels like you're kind of like plugged in to a scene, which I don't know if that's like a conscious thing that you're out there networking with these people, or are they just mates?
For me, it's definitely like the enjoyment factor of listening to like new music. Like I just
think when you enjoy something, you want people to enjoy it too, don't you?
Yeah,
like, you
like
push it on them. You're like, you have to.
How do you not know about this? And it's like this is the best thing, like the last week kind of thing. And it's like,
and we're all really enthusiastic characters anyway, so we're gonna always push it on people.
Yeah, and like we're all very aware of like where we kind of, if we fit into that, and like which part of that we fit into kind of thing, because everyone, no matter how hard you try to like make your own sort of box, like people will group you in with like other people, like no matter how sort of individual you have to be on a lineup with other bands, you have to be in the, like a category, playlists and whatnot. So it's like as loose as it can get, like where do we kind of go in that? So we're trying to sort of go between the kind of the indie and the R&B and the kind of the dream pop and the sort of rock, but keep it kind of,
we're floating.
Yeah, keep it kind of organic and not like, oh, we've listened to this record and we want to make it sound exactly like that kind of thing. So
good fun and floating.
Yeah, exactly. Good fun and floating.
Those are mottos.
Floating.
For anyone who hasn't seen you guys live yet and they've made the mistake to not check you out already, what do people expect from the Blushes live experience? What are you bringing it to Camden on the 25th of July?
A lot of good fun.
That's
Dad fun
time.
right there.
Oh no. It will be.
No, it will be really good fun. I think I'm going to have a great time.
It's probably going to be very hot. We're going to be playing new songs. It's going to be
a lot of dancing, a lot of boogieing. No guitars breaking this time.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Spare guitars at the ready.
Goal number 1. Yeah, we've actually convinced the other guys to bring spare guitars now.
Spare guitars now, and spare band members. No, we don't do that.
Just in case.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be really good, I think.
We're just excited, like, for the whole kind of thing. We're not really we don't know what
There's
like
nothing in particular. Yeah.
we know it's gonna be good, but we don't know like what kind of good.
Yeah.
So gonna be.
Come on down to find out.
Left or right?
Yeah,
hook,
they have to come see us. Give us a smile. Give us a wave.
Wait
Smile
and
and wave,
see.
boys. Smile and wave.
We're going to get into another track from these guys. This is Blushes with Not a Chance right here on Reprezent.
Girl, you don't want to be like me. You don't want to pay so king.
Not a Chance by... Oh, no.
Every time.
Every time.
I don't feel bad as well because
Why?
that's just like a nice little production element that you guys
Sonny
have put
might
in.
cry
and,
when
We
he hears
did
this.
that for this interview.
I know,
We did
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's like, how can we catch out all the radio
Yeah.
DJs?
Special
We're just like, when
edition
you think
Represent.
it's over, it keeps coming back.
Where do we go?
It's okay, you're forgiven.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Blushes, Not a Chance. The guys themselves joined me in the studio this afternoon. And we're just kind of talking about the sound and the live shows coming up and just everything that's going on. So you guys have, you said that you kind of decamped to an old school hall and recorded a couple of tunes.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff that we maybe haven't heard yet. Is that so?
We have like more individual tracks coming out. Currently working on one, which is this, I think the most.
I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
so
the most
excited.
different one from like previous stuff I think we've done. I guess
the
they
production's
all
a little
are.
bit different. It's
Yeah.
a little bit like, oh, I'm just so
Yeah.
excited. You know, like how we had the EP and then we, like people weren't expecting Honey because it was quite a different sound. I feel like it's kind of like up from that.
Is that but more?
It's the same
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
punchy effect
And
in the
then
sense of Honey did. Yeah.
We got a track after that, which we did. A track after that, which is a bit more familiar, which we did in the studio. Our amazing friend Scott Ramsell, who was actually at the World Cup. He was doing like engineering for the VAR, sound engineering, which is pretty important stuff.
Yeah.
But he
I think he's back now.
he did all the engineering.
I'm keen to see how that feeds into the Blushes recording.
Because he's amazing. That's how it feeds in.
And he's just got an eye for detail.
Yeah.
And an ear for detail.
Eye and an ear. Those are important.
That was brilliant. That was at their studios at Bucks New Uni in High Wycombe.
Oh, and that was when my car died.
Oh yeah. We had a
we had a nasty incident where I turned around and a curb scraped the whole side of my car.
Some curbs are just too high.
Some curbs, man. You have to watch out for these curbs.
But if this interview is proving anything, it's you guys are the most rock and roll outfit going around right now.
We're
Breaking
rock and
guitars,
roll.
falling off stage, trashing
Cars.
cars.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
You know,
Just
I mean-
like about like
Yeah.
just like.
it's all in a day's work.
That's so
Blushes.
funny that you say that. I turned up to the Hendy last night and I was like the only sober one. And they were like, oh, do you want a drink? And I was like, no, stick to the water. And they were like, you're meant to be a rock and roll star. I was like,
Rock and roll is like the opposite.
Water!
Yeah. It's like gone full circle.
I
It's the
love it.
opposite of what it was in like the 80s.
Yeah, it's
Like,
all like sobriety and
you got to survive, you know.
And flowers.
that's you
Yeah.
know, if you want to be in this game a long time, you got to look after yourself.
Longevity. You've got to think
Longevity
of longevity.
is good fun. Floating
And longevity.
The journey is near completion.
Flush's crossword. Flush's crossword right there.
One thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Can we talk about clothes?
Yeah, of
Because I
course.
feel like the look is, it's almost like a big part of Blushes, whether it's consciously or not. Because you guys have killer outfits.
Thank you
And
very
to
much.
solidify this opinion, you were recently featured in Enemy looking very
yeah.
fly.
That
all
happened.
kinds of manners of things. Actually, Cobb, the first time I met you at the gig, you were just like, I think you said, do you like my jacket? And you were like, always talking about wearing a jacket on stage.
Jackets are.
Because it's a fly
I don't know.
jacket.
Were you wearing the fluorescent one?
No, I think it was like a LSE
I had the
sporty kind of vibe.
the North Face.
North Face.
They're all
And it
charity
matched
shops.
the shorts, right? This is the thing, it matched the shorts.
Yeah, they're all charity shops. Like if people do go to charity shops, but just keep going to them because they are unending source of
A treasure trove.
joy and
Yeah.
love. They are.
We
really.
love the clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bradley especially loves them.
yeah,
We actually know we all do. I think we're all like a massive fan of
yeah,
flash fashion.
for sure. It's like
Fashion.
we think about it more gigs, some gigs more than others, but like we have gigs where we're like how
We used to do it like
we
really
make a
intensely,
certain-
didn't we? Like where I'd message the chat and be like, so what colours are we going for tonight, guys? Like,
just like
should
try
we
and
go
not
for a baby
wear
pink or a baby
completely
blue?
clash, you know, like
Yeah, or like one of them, you and Bradley wore football shirts, which were like vintage.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That was the '98 France.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wow, yeah, that's so weird.
And we found two of them in a charity shop, and then we were just
Yeah, so then me and Sonny wore like matching red outfits,
should have been
and then they
four.
wore like
It
blue,
was- yeah, it was
and it
kind
was
of-
like really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
It would be a good one to rock today as we take our eyes to the TV screen. Wow, 40.
That was a good football
Still
commenting voice.
Chris,
Still in it.
20 minutes. Yeah.
No, but it's nice. It's kind of everything coming together, and it just feels like you guys are almost bursting with creativity. Outfits, recording, live shows, just everything going on.
I feel like there's a
good.
kind of, I don't know, this is a kind of broad statement or a big statement, but I feel like in the music world we are going into a kind of I guess another like a renaissance type thing in terms of creativity. Artists have like more control over their music than and their sound and their look
and their style
than they ever have. Like and like more artists are doing visual things as well as music. They're doing like
visuals massive.
Multimedia
visuals
kind of stuff.
Are massive, yeah.
And I think that is just amazing. Like it was, and then we're like, okay, how do we kind of stay
current,
kind of in the league, I guess, in a way, like we keep it good enough. Like
I don't think we're ever going to get tired of it, so it's good.
We're always on our toes, sure.
And that's what it's all about. Like for me on this show and for everyone at the station, I think I read something really powerful where someone was talking about if you're a music fan, you have as much chance of being hooked by a track that a major label are pushing or like a big conglomerate. You have as much chance of getting hooked by that as you do picking up something from a tweet.
For
like
instance,
the game it's a level playing field now.
Yeah.
For instance, like it wasn't the biggest show. It was still Radio 1. Like when To the Bone got played on that, it was like we made that in a shed. Like we recorded a whole band in a shed, and now it's been played on like, national radio.
And we got approached, man. Like that is huge.
Yeah, that was like, well, it was kind of validating is the word, I guess. Yeah, for sure. That was. So yeah, if you are a bedroom musician, or you just like, if you think like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have the access to a studio, or like, where do I start? You just gotta go work with what you have, like as best as you can. Keep researching, keep learning. You've got to do it. It's a dream, you know.
Just keep doing it, guys, because I'm loving it, and I know a lot of people are loving it as well. So
thank you very much.
I'm grateful that you
pushed me so much.
Show at the Camden Assembly, 25th of July.
Yes.
There's a show in Milton Keynes this week.
It's the 19th.
The 19th. I think you're back at the Camden Assembly in August.
We are.
Yes.
Yeah, and then maybe more new music and more new shows.
Yes, for sure. It's going to be kind of.
We've got like a Standing Calling as well festival.
Oh yeah, that's
big.
This month. That's on the BBC Introducing stage.
Thank you.
I just want to say a big shout out to my brother today. He's playing with his band Amaroon at Latitude.
Yeah.
They're doing awesome at the moment.
Reprezent.
And Jay, awesome.
Wicked, guys. Socials, Blushes Band, Don't Make Me Blushes on various bits and pieces.
Blushes Band on Twitter, Don't Make Me Blushes on Insta, and then just Blushes Band on Facebook. I think it's like we will have a website again soon. There's big things coming. Don't you worry. It's like yeah.
So excited. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to play amazing. Dust from my guest this week, Blushes.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
She'll be